Hello, future revolutionaries. I'm James Myers, and today I will be detailing a time-tested process on how to overthrow a communist government and instate a new form of rule for the betterment of your country. By the end of this video, I hope you will achieve what 1989 Soviet Russia achieved in ending its downward spiral in a communistic system by accepting capitalistic democracy as the one true government. While I'm not exactly a professor in the field, I have read many books and have studied about the fall of communism worldwide, and I know the negative effects of communism were so massive that it still has impacts on the world to this day. I hope my semi-expertise on the subject will make you feel more secure about your decision to take a stand. Hey, but you can't just overthrow your glorious leader alone, comrade. You must prepare not only yourself, but the country itself too. This can be done by instating revolutionary thoughts into insurgent groups or students that can easily be swayed to action. But the young and the restless can't be the only backbone of this revolution. You're going to have to convince the hard-working man, who this entire political system is supposed to be based around. But if this communist regime has been around for a while, I'm sure the proletariat shouldn't be too hard to convince. Yeah, when you're more focused on killing the working class rather than helping them, you're not going to be that popular. There are 4 R's to remember when going through the overthrowing process. 1. Realization. 2. Radicalization. 3. Revolution. And 4. Reform. You and others should have already realized the flaws in your government for your prerequisite, so now it's time to move on to radicalization. Strong feelings cause action, and what's the best way to achieve this? Devoting every ounce of brain power to your cause and gathering others to collectivize this powerful emotion. It's a key component to any movement. Once you have the people on your side, it's only a matter of time before anti-communist uprisings happen and productivity fails. In harshly oppressive governments like these, violence is always a necessity. Here are just a few outcomes of the Hungarian uprising in 1956. Many people died and the leader was executed, but this revolt showed that countries were discontent with the communist rule this early on in the regime. Once all these factors start hitting, the leaders of your country's communist government will either crack down on your revolutions and slaughter all the insurgents, or begin to lighten up on political conservancy. Let's just say, it's a mixed bag of opportunity. If they choose the latter, it won't be too long before a new leader is elected that can ease up on government restrictions on free speech and free elections. Before you know it, more and more people will begin to speak out against how horrible their government is now that the threat of death is no longer being held over them. Surprising effect, I know. This new flow of ideas will then lead to anti-communist sentiment seeping into regional governments, and these regions could either splinter off or use their influence to disrupt the main state. Either one weakens the power of the central government and will eventually lead to re-elections. Before you know it, the popular movement installs a new democracy by electing an actual president that ran, instead of one that was just appointed by government officials. This is all a very long process, but it shouldn't take too long once you get the ball rolling with radical ideas. One thing that you should avoid is a feeling of contentment in your miserable state or disillusion towards your leaders. This can lead to something like what happened in Cuba, where the entire country remained locked away in a constant state of aggression and fear until Fidel got too old to hang on and gave up power to his liberal brother. You could see some similarities in how the people of Cuba tried to free themselves and my 4 Rs, but the end goal took too long with too much stagnation in the revolutionary process. Before you start your journey to freedom, comrade, it is critical to remember all the 4 Rs of overthrowing communism. Good luck and happy hunting.